Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. You are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. We have major breaking news on this network tonight. But going on in New York right now as we speak, the New York Democrat primary mayoral race between former Governor Andrew Cuomo and this radical Islamic extremist who's pro-Hamas, Zoltan Mondari. The fact that Mr. Zoltan is even close to possibly becoming the new New York mayor is disgusting. And as you know, in New York, they have something called ranked choice voting, which, as you know, takes a good candidate and drops them down about 2 or 3 spots. So you may think that you're voting for Governor Cuomo, but then after the ranked choice voting, the guy that you really don't want, Mr. Zoltan Mondari, ends up winning the primary after all. And unfortunately, there is speculation that he will win the New York mayoral race. So in the state of New York, you will have a pro-Hamas radical Islamic terrorist as your mayor. If you are a Jewish person living in New York and this guy becomes your mayor, people have advised you to leave the state because as a Jew, you will not be able to survive the state of New York. It's very sad because there's millions of Jewish people that live in New York. But if you have a mayor that's pro-Hamas and throws pro-Hamas rallies all over colleges and universities and on the streets, especially in Times Square, you're kind of screwed. So I've advised Jewish people to do everything they can to make sure that this radical Islamic doesn't become your mayor. But it is New York after all, and you are suffering with ranked choice voting. Other breaking news today, as you know, President Trump is right now currently in the Netherlands with a NATO summit. He will be meeting with NATO allies. And before he got on Marine One, he said the F-bomb heard all over the world.
Two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
So I volunteered for President Trump in 2015, 2016. I've volunteered and worked with him, worked with the JEX organization that is heavily involved with President Trump for many years. When he said that F word today, let me tell you, he really meant it. President Trump wants peace. He wants peace in the Middle East. He wanted to get on Marine One today to Air Force One and say, we had this ceasefire, Iran and Israel, they did the ceasefire, there was no attacks. And unfortunately, the ceasefire was broken. It was actually broken by Iran first, and I'll give you the timeline of it. So the ceasefire was actually supposed to be given at 7 a.m. Israeli time. Well, at 5:30 a.m. Israeli time, Iran launched a barrage of rockets, murdering 4 Israeli civilians in Beersheba. Remember, the Iranians, the Ayatollah Khomeini, the mullahs, they love killing innocent civilians, innocent people, killing innocent Israelis. That happened at 5:30 a.m. Then at 7:06 a.m., 6 minutes after the ceasefire, Iran decides to continue with the barrage of missiles fired in Tel Aviv, in different parts of Israel. That is a breakage of the ceasefire. There's also reports that according to Iran's foreign minister, they never agreed to a ceasefire. So if Iran's foreign minister never agreed to a ceasefire, there was never a ceasefire, and Iran was just going in there, killing innocent Israeli civilians. Remember, there's 700,000 American civilians that live in Israel, including my friends that are currently stuck there. They're stuck in bomb shelters in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. This affected them too. Sirens going off all over the place. There was 3 sirens going off after the ceasefire. I have friends that serve in the IDF that told me this personally. So Iran broke the ceasefire. Because Iran broke the ceasefire, Israel retaliated, but not against the Iranian people. Again, Israel does not kill innocent civilians. What did Israel do? They retaliated by destroying a radar installation near Tehran. Again, they retaliated by destroying a radar installation near Tehran. Now, President Trump, he's just getting all of these intelligence about this as the day is going on right before he's about to get on Marine One. Once he gets on Marine One and goes into Air Force One, he actually speaks with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He speaks with Iran. And Netanyahu told him exactly what happened. He told him the times, why Israel had to retaliate. And he told President Trump, he said, after we destroyed the radar installation near Tehran, that's it. We're done. No more. Special envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, said tonight on the Laura Ingraham show that there is a ceasefire. There is no fights going on. Israel is not attacking Iran. Iran is not attacking Israel. It is over. President Trump, with his team, did everything they could to complete Mideast peace. They're continuing to complete the Mideast peace. Again, the goal is for Iran to not have nuclear weapons. The goal is for the Ayatollahs and the mullahs to be overthrown by the Iranian people. It is now Iran's country to save. It's the Iranian people's country to save. As President Trump said, it is make Iran great again. I also say make Iran Persia again. If you know the story of Esther, this is a perfect repeat of history from this book of Esther. How Esther was a queen, a pioneer who fought for her people. Her husband, King Ahasuerus, who was not Jewish, was about to annihilate all the Jewish race because, unfortunately, he listened to his horrible advisor, Haman, who, of course, was an anti-Semite, anti-Jew, and his sons were just as worse with his wife, Zeresh. When Queen Esther vulnerably had to tell her husband that she was Jewish, and if he agrees to what Haman is doing, she will die too. King Ahasuerus said, I love my wife Esther. I cannot do this. Instead, he ordered for her cousin Mordecai to become his head advisor. And as a result, Haman was hanged with his 7 sons and his wife Zeresh. Again, history repeating itself. The book of Esther was a real story, by the way. God's name is never mentioned in the book of Esther, but his soul and his spirit and his presence is there. And then President Trump retruthed right after he was on Air Force One speaking to Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and to Iran. Both Israel and Iran wanted to stop the war equally. It was my great honor to destroy all nuclear facilities and capability and then stop the war. President Trump, with his team, did everything they could, and again, are doing everything they can to make sure that Iran doesn't obtain nuclear weapons. They bombed the 3 most crucial nuclear facilities in Iran with the help of the Israelis. I can tell you that Israel, I was correct. Netanyahu and President Trump, they worked hand in hand on this for months and actually for years to make sure that Iran doesn't obtain a nuclear weapon. The Israeli Central Intelligence, they briefed the American Central Intelligence on where the main facilities are in Iran. And that's what's important here. So for people to say that Israel started this war and that, Israel made President Trump his bitch, that is 100% not true. That is false reporting. Israel did not put us into this war. Again, this was a coordinated effort between Israel and the United States. And again, this has been talked about for years. And we actually are going into segment 1 right now with this first slide. And then I'm going to give you the timeline as we go along. Trump says Iran and Israel to have a phased-in ceasefire over 24 hours. Again, what I told you in the time process, Iran broke that ceasefire. Israel did retaliate. And then after they retaliated, Israel said to President Trump, we're not doing it anymore. We're not retaliating anymore. And Israel has kept their word. Iran has kept their word. Then the second slide, at real Donald Trump. This was after he bombed the 3 facilities. He said, congrats to everyone. And this was on Saturday, by the way. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire 6 hours from now for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Iran will start the ceasefire, and then Israel, during each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. And of course, as we saw this morning, Trump was pissed that the ceasefire was broken. But he also made the point that both countries didn't intentionally mean to break the ceasefire. But again, he wants peace. He doesn't want war. He wants the war to stop. President Trump was brought into the White House to stop these wars. Now he's going into NATO and already talked about Russia and Ukraine. Vladimir Putin called up Trump and said, hey, can I help you with Iran? He said, no, dude, you need to help yourself. You need to stop the damn war. You need to stop the fighting, stop the killing. Let's end this war. And because of what President Trump did with Israel on Saturday night, Iran will not obtain nuclear weapons. And everyone's like, oh, Israel's lying, Israel's lying. There's no nuclear weapons. BS. Bibi Netanyahu brought the evidence to Congress multiple times. President Trump saw the evidence, knows it. That's why he pulled us out of the Iran nuclear deal after Barack Hussein Obama. That's why he pulled us out of the Iran nuclear deal again after Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So these were the three main facilities on Saturday night. This was the timeline. After USA bombed the three main nuclear facilities, Iran sent Israel and the USA a political message by trying to bomb U.S. airspace in Qatar. Also, airspaces in UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, and Iraq were closed for fear that Iran was going to bomb the U.S. airspaces. Again, if Iran would have killed any United States military person, there would have been hell to pay. And what were the three main nuclear facilities that were bombed? Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. And President Trump knew about these nuclear facilities for many, many years. The Israeli Central Intelligence and the American Central Intelligence worked hand in hand together. Also, Pete Hegseth worked on this with Marco Rubio, with the CIA Director John Radcliffe, and Bibi Netanyahu and his government. It was a private operation, but also under Article 2 of the Constitution, President Trump was allowed to do this. Now the Democrats in Congress are like, we're going to impeach President Trump because he didn't brief us on this. We don't know what was going on. They don't know the Constitution at all. Craziness. And we'll get into that later. So going back into segment 1, now we're going into slide 3, where there are multiple images of President Trump in the Situation Room. There's President Trump right there with his MAGA hat. Let's go to the next image. President Trump with Vice President J.D. Vance working hand in hand here. Next slide. There's the CIA Director John Radcliffe, and I can't see the other faces behind him, but I know that Raising Cane was there too, and Pete Hegseth was in there as well. Raising Cane is the Joint Chiefs of Staff, all the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the military in the Situation with Susie Summerall Wiles, who is President Trump's Chief of Staff. And also Dan Scavino Jr. was there with Stephen Miller. Next slide. Yep, there's Marco Rubio, quote, NSA interim director as well as Secretary of State with the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. And I think that's the last slide. So that's the last slide of that. So as you can see, all those men were in the Situation Room on Saturday night. Then we go into at real Donald Trump, or excuse me, not at real Donald Trump. After that, after those images at American Citizen, President Trump didn't bomb Iran. Yep, my friend American Citizen, he explained it very well. President Trump didn't bomb Iran. He targeted nuclear facilities within Iran. There's a big difference. Let's be accurate with our words. His actions weren't aimed at the Iranian people, but at the Islamic regime. That's the Ayatollah Khomeini, who's 86 years old, by the way, and the mullahs in his pursuit of nuclear weapons. Please share this post. And I agree with my friend Charles Collins up there. This year we had a president that did something about it. That is correct. Peace through strength. And then you have at real Donald Trump. Monumental damage was, let's bring that up. Monumental damage was done to all nuclear sites in Iran. That was, again, what I told you. Fordow, which was the main nuclear facility, Natanz and Esfahan. As shown by satellite images, obliteration is an accurate term. The white structure shown is deeply embedded into the rock, with even its roof well below ground level and completely shielded from flame. The biggest damage took place from below ground level bullseye. And again, CNN, fake news. And I'm so glad that President Trump called them out today, all over when he was at Marine One and Air Force One. CNN fake news said that the nuclear facility wasn't bombed, might have been touched a little bit, still there. Fake news, liars, liar CNN. President Trump, he's got the intelligence from Israel. He knows if the nuclear facilities were bombed. He saw it actually happen in real time in the Situation Room. Steve Witkoff today on the Laura Ingraham show, he confirmed that the nuclear facilities were completely destroyed by the B-52s. And also we have confirmation that the American military, they flew back to Missouri and they were safe. Not one American soldier was killed in this operation. Not one Iranian civilian was killed in this operation. Let's get that straight. And next slide with my friend Eric Daughtry. He's quoting J.D. Vance here. J.D. Vance went on all the talk shows on Sunday. Maria Bartiromo, MSDNC, CBS, CNN. He said, J.D. Vance said, we did not attack the nation of Iran. We did not attack any civilian targets. We didn't even attack military targets outside of the 3 nuclear weapons facilities. If the Iranians attack us, They're going to be met with overwhelming force. That's why right before J.D. Vance and President Trump went back into the Situation Room, they got intelligence from Israel telling them that the mullahs, that the Ayatollah are looking to bomb the air base in Qatar. Remember what I said. There are permanent bases in the Middle East. There's a permanent base in Qatar, in Bahrain, in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, in Iraq. They did this crap when Trump bombed Soleimani in his first term. So the Israeli intelligence warned America about this. America closed off the U.S. airbase in Qatar. So when Iran went into a bomb, guess what? They did not bomb that U.S. airbase. You know why? Because the 13 missiles were intercepted. They were intercepted. There was one that was unintercepted, but it went so far away it didn't do any harm. But the Ayatollah, the Khomeini, the Iranian Islamic regime threw 13 missiles into that U.S. airbase in Qatar and tried to throw missiles in Kuwait, tried to throw missiles in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and so forth. And they were all intercepted. They're all intercepted. Hello. My brain is doing this. My brain is going like this because there is so much news here. But you guys have to understand, trust the plan, trust the man. Trust the plan, trust the man. Again, you are not going against America first if you stand and support your biggest ally, Israel. Israel worked in tandem with the United States, making sure that U.S. military personnel were not killed. Remember, Israel gave the United States the warning first. Hey, the Iranians are coming. They're coming with a nuclear bomb right to the U.S. airbase. I think you should shut it down. They were right on top of it. That's why they were closed before they even had the chance. Remember that. That is important information. Remember that. That's why J.D. Vance said, if one U.S. military personnel is killed, they will be held to pay. The United States ain't going to put up with that crap. And then what we saw going on is that President Trump is the main negotiator. He's the master negotiator. He's negotiating peace all over the world. That's why he was pissed this morning. That's why he dropped the F-bomb, because these countries have been fighting each other for so long. He's tired of Israel and Iran fighting and Israel fighting with this terrorist organization. The goal is to reduce the terrorists from their respected countries. Reduce Hezbollah, reduce Hamas, reduce Islamic Jihad, reduce Al-Aqsa Martyr Brigade, reduce the Taliban. That's what President Trump did in his first term. It's very true. It's very true. President Trump has multiple different ideas. That's why he said, let's own Gaza, because it's something outside of the norm. And Netanyahu's looking at it. He's like, you know what? He's the only person that brought this to our attention. We have seen this going on for 42 years, 46 years. President Trump wants it over, and he wants to do it while he's in office. And there's been talks that he should get a Nobel Peace Prize for this. I agree. He was nominated for 3 Nobel Peace Prizes in his first term. He should be nominated for this Nobel Peace Prize, for a Nobel Peace Prize for bringing peace in the Middle East, bringing peace between India and Pakistan, and bringing peace between Ukraine and Russia. He should be getting the Nobel Peace Prize. Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize, and we don't even know what it was for. Obama was a disgrace. We're finding out more and more that he was really an illegitimate president, and that he was committing treason behind the scenes. That Joe Biden was a vegetable, wasn't even the president. We're trying to get to the bottom of the auto pen situation. President Trump believes in peace through strength. I support and stand with President Trump here. I support and stand with President Trump on his policies. Our network does as well. Trust the plan, trust the man. Again, there has been no bigger friend to Israel than President Trump. He just wants peace. That's why he was pissed today. But again, after talking with Netanyahu, after talking with Iran, there has been no casualties since. Steve Witkoff confirmed it. It has been confirmed by the IDF, Shin Bet Mossad. But Israel did not force us into this war. Israel is not the one to blame. The ones to blame are the Islamic terrorists. And the Islamic terrorists were the ones that killed 1,200 innocent people on October 7th. Coming back after the break, we're talking about another murderer and other murderers that decide to kill innocent Christians while they are in church. Coming right back after the break. Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did. Hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We just talked about innocent civilians being killed in the Middle East. Well, guess what? It's going on here in America again. And there's also innocent Christians that are being murdered and killed in the Middle East. Well, last Sunday, police ID suspected gunman fatally shot at Wayne Church. 31-year-old Romulus man will put up his slide right now. Put up the slide, please. There you go. Police identified suspected gunman fatality shot at Wayne Church, Michigan. I know Wayne Church, Michigan very well. Officials said his mother was actually a member of the church. Isn't that lovely? Please play the clip. No, we're not doing that yet. Producer, we are playing the clip of what happened on...
Oh. Come on, everybody to the back. Please, everybody come to the back. Come to the back. John, they gotta come. They gotta come. Come on.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Go. Out, I don't think is a good idea. No.
So if you can see that clip is very powerful because it's telling you what's going on inside the church. The shooting actually happened outside the church. But if you are a mother and you have children inside that church and you're wondering if your children are going to be alive or dead or if a shooter is going to enter your church or even your synagogue, is a very frightful moment. There was young kids in that church, and thank God that they had proper training there. I was told a month before, for God forbid, or if God forbid anything ever happened like this. They were told to move everybody to the back of the church and in the very back of the church, probably in the kitchen area of the church, in case, God forbid, the shooter came into the church. There was handicapped people in that church. There was disabled people in that church. It's very sad nowadays that you have to worry about going to church or going to synagogue. Again, I'm a big proponent of allowing people to conceal carry at churches and synagogues if they're properly vetted, if they've had military personnel and so forth. One security guard at a church or a synagogue is never enough. I have personally called for 24/7 security at churches and synagogues, not just on important holidays, but 7 days a week. And not just one security officer patrolling. It's got to be multiple, especially if you live in very liberal cities, liberal states. Baltimore City in particular, Baltimore County has shootings all the time at synagogues, churches. It's very sad. Again, it has to do with your leadership as well. But what would compel a 31-year-old young man to do this? His mother is a member of the church. You would think that he would have Jesus in his life. Would Jesus have told him to do this? Did Jesus tell him to do this? Or could it have been the provocateurs on Facebook and TikTok? Or maybe our liberal congressmen and senators? Maybe it has to do with all of the propaganda that is being pushed forward on social media. It's very sad that this had to happen. But I still encourage people to go to church. I still encourage people to go to synagogue because these episodes, they frighten people to the point where they don't want to go to church or synagogue anymore. And then they lose their faith. But again, I have talked to elected officials. I've talked to local officials in the states and the cities and the counties to get rid of gun-free zones, to have people be allowed to conceal carry. I can tell you that I've done many events at Jewish federations. I know for a fact that some of the people that come to my events, they do carry. They have been encouraged to. They have been encouraged to by local law enforcement. They've been encouraged to by rabbis, by people of the pulpit. I don't encourage them to, but if they have it on them, we don't say boo, because we need to be protected. They need to be protected also. But if you only have one security guard at a Jewish community center, at a Jewish federation, guess what? That person dies, and everyone else, the thousands of people at that Jewish federation, they die too. You need people that are dressed incognito to protect you. There's a lot of Republican meetings that happen at hotels, that happen at restaurants, that happen at different banquet halls. You don't think that delinquents, vigilantes know where these Republican or Democrat meetings are being held? Just like there was a baseball practice where a crazy shooter attacked the Republicans on a baseball field and almost killed Congressman Steve Scalise. So again, I advise everyone to get trained on this, to learn self-defense. I know Krav Maga, which is Israeli self-defense. You don't have to be Jewish to learn Krav Maga. I encourage everyone to obtain a gun if they feel comfortable. I encourage everyone to get concealed carry if they happen to be in a state with constitutional carry, like the state of Florida, even better. But don't wait for the next episode to happen. Don't wait for your life to be in danger. And then we go into the second slide. Our friend Tim Fazenbaker, he wrote this. There was another shooting that happened, not a shooting, a suicide bomber on Sunday. We'll put that up. A suicide bomber just blew himself up at a church in Syria. Dozens killed and injured. ISIS-linked groups are behind it. As you know, the Syrian people, or not the Syrian people, but ISIS and Al-Aqsa Martyr Brigade, they overthrew Bashar al-Assad, who was the head of Syria at the time. He actually fled to Moscow. He's under the protection of Vladimir Putin. And remember, Obama said he would go after Bashar al-Assad. We'll make sure that Bashar al-Assad doesn't have nuclear capabilities. And Vladimir Putin had to step in to make sure that there was no aggression between Syria and Israel. Basically, Vladimir Putin had to do the job for Barack Hussein Obama, because Barack Hussein Obama was a wuss, a puppet, a moron. But ISIS and Al-Qaeda have taken over. President Trump and Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff with Mike Huckabee have actually asked Syria to join in the Abraham Accords. They've asked Lebanon, they've asked different countries, Saudi Arabia, of course, to join in the Abraham Accords. One of the biggest, I would say, goals of the Middle East is to expand the Abraham Accords, because under the Abraham Accords, there was peace with these countries. There's peace between Bahrain and Israel. There's peace between Bahrain and Sudan. There's peace between Israel and UAE. As a Jew, I can go to UAE, I can go to Bahrain, I can go to Sudan. There's a treaty agreement between Israel and Morocco. United States, Israel, and all these countries, the treaty has stayed intact. Hey guys, sorry about that. We got kicked off of Restream for a moment, but we are back. We're focusing now on Tim Fazenbaker's Facebook post, which became very popular. I just want to say for the record, Tim Fazenbaker's Facebook is phenomenal. He's got like 50,000 followers. He has over 100,000 followers on his social media alone. Please follow him on Facebook, Tim Fazenbaker. And don't forget to follow him on X at America One Tim Faze. And don't forget to go on his website. He is running for higher office. He's not announced yet. We will not announce it, but of course we will have him on the show for him to do his announcement. Please go on his website, timfazenbaker.com. That's timfazenbaker.com, and give a nice donation today. Average donation is in $200 to $500. People have been donating to him like crazy. So please go on his website, timfazenbaker.com. Donate to him today. He's a great patriot. He's an America First guy, and he will be in the halls of Congress one day. He will even be a U.S. Senator one day, mark my words. So he wrote, a suicide bomber just blew himself up at a church in Syria, dozens killed and injured. Syrian interior military says that ISIS is responsible for this. So I've always said what happens in the Middle East happens in America. We hope to God that there is not a suicide bomber that blows up everybody at a church or blows everybody up at a synagogue. But what we're seeing all over Europe is these Islamic terrorists that get into a truck like they do in Gaza, like they've done in Jerusalem, and they just kill over a bunch of people. That happened in London. London, the song London Bridge is Falling Down. Well, an Islamic extremist literally got into a truck and he just mauled a bunch of people. And again, what happens over there is happening here. And we need to understand that this is serious. That's why President Trump wants to stop the killing. He wants the regimes, these Islamic regimes, to be overturned by the people. That's why he's so big on the Iranian people. And I've met a lot of them, and a lot of them, they don't like the Ayatollah. They don't like the mullahs. They want to have peace. They want their country back. There's videos after the 3 main nuclear sites in Iran were blown up, were demolished. There was Iranian women that normally, like, they wear their kafifes and they're fully covered, their faces are covered. They ripped off not kafifes, they're hijabs. I'm sorry, I get them all confused. They ripped off their hijabs and they felt liberated. They felt liberated. And it's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. And it's just, we need to see more of that. But again, it's up to the Iranian people now. Israel doesn't want to go into war with people. I told you, Israel's they're very peaceful people. I lived in Israel. I felt safer living in Israel than I did in New York City. And now if you get a mayor who's an Islamic terrorist as your mayor, I wouldn't want to live in New York City anymore. And again, we'll keep you abreast of that race. Again, ranked choice voting is going to kill who the rightful person should be in those primaries. But we have to understand here the dynamic of what's going on and how we cannot bend and how we cannot break and how we cannot yield, and we will never give up and we will never back down. President Trump has said that all the time on the campaign trail. Again, President Trump is trying to bring peace, not just to the Middle East, but to the world. And on top of that, he wants to bring peace to America by cutting down taxes for we the people, making sure that his Trump tax cuts are advanced. Also, making sure that we have more money for ICE, more money for Border Patrol, that we have safety and security here in America. He also wants to make sure to cut down our costs, to bring down the cost of oil, so we become energy independent again. So we're not paying $3, $4, $5 a gallon on gas. I can tell you, I was just at the grocery store today. Eggs are cheaper. I used to spend over hundreds of dollars just for myself on maybe 5 items. Today I spent $44 on groceries. I was like, yay! I'm so happy. So things are coming down. Things are coming down. It's literally a matter of time. But if Congress passes the big, beautiful bill, things will calm down and the cost of things will go down. Remember, he campaigned on no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. That's in the bill. It's also very good for farmers, this bill. Farmers Association has already praised President Trump on the bill. And President Trump will do everything he can to lower the national debt, to let it go down. But you have idiots like Jerome Powell, who's a part of the Federal Reserve, that says, oh, inflation's going to continue to go up. He said that in front of Congress today, or not today, yesterday. And President Trump wants him gone. Unfortunately, he can't throw him out. But he has a time limit. He has a term. And his term is up. It's coming up. Jerome Powell is not good. He has not been good for we the people. He's not the guy that Trump thought he was. When Trump appointed him, he had no idea. Guy was like a Bush guy. But by passing the big, beautiful bill, it'll bring the cost down of a lot of these things and the inflation will go down. President Trump has been increasing the job force. More manufacturing jobs are coming to America. There will be jobs for our farmers. We're getting rid of the Chinese owning our farmland and having American citizens own their farmland 100%, getting rid of these illegals not having illegals work the farms, and having American citizens either hire other Americans or have the American the farmers that own their own farms. Like I have friends in Texas that own their own farms. They hire themselves. They're like, this is our farm. I know how to work my own farm better than a freaking illegal can. Also, President Trump is cutting out $1.4 million away from illegals to have Medicaid. It is illegal for an illegal to have health insurance. There's freaking rhinos in Annapolis that voted to give illegals health care. That's insane. I'm a licensed insurance agent. I would never, ever, ever insure an illegal. Ever. I wouldn't be licensed anymore. It's illegal. I also don't give people Medicaid. I don't want people to live off the system. I know there's some people that have to be on Medicaid, but I insure people that are not using the government. We have to help our veterans. We have to help our homeless veterans. Those are the people that are suffering the most. The VA is a mess. Thank God for Doug Collins fixing it. Thank God for helping our disabled veterans. That's the truth. So that's why it's very important. It's very, very important for us to pass the one big, beautiful bill. It's very important. If we don't do this, it will hurt our country. It will vehemently hurt our country. People need to understand when President Trump put these taxes into place, I misspoke. When President Trump passed the biggest tax cut in his first term, it helped we, the people. My friend Stephen Moore, my other friend Larry Kudlow worked on that tax cut plan with President Trump. It needs to be expanded, it needs to be re-implemented, and it needs to continue. So congressmen like Thomas Massie, who's grandstanding, and other senators that are grandstanding, they need to stop grandstanding. They need to think of their constituents, think of we the people. There's a reason why President Trump is pissed at Congressman Thomas Massie, because it doesn't matter what President Trump puts out to the floor, he's just going to vote no every time. You can't have grandstanders and grifters in the Republican Party anymore. Republicans have the power of the House of Representatives and the powers in the Senate. It's a problem. I can tell you President Trump is looking at a lot of federal races, state races, local races nationwide. He's looking for the most America First candidate in there. He is tired of the grifters, the never Trumpers, the snowflakers. So I say to the central committees and I say to the caucuses, put the personalities aside and focus and work on the person that will actually get the job done. It's not a personality contest. Majority of the people didn't like Donald Trump in 2015, 2016, and he won. President Trump won the popular vote by 5 million votes this time around. So again, take the egos down a notch. It's not about personalities. It's not a personality contest. It's about the person that will get the job done. And it is the Central Committee's job and the caucus's jobs to vet the proper candidates, the right candidates, and to fund for those candidates. They don't do their job, they're busy doing other things, then they shouldn't be on the Central Committee, they shouldn't be on the caucus. But the constituents are looking to you. to put the right people forward. But I'll be honest with you, the constituents are smarter than anyone. They're the smartest of all. They know what they need for their community. They know who they need for their district. They're going to go with the guy that MCs at a local event for charity. They're going to go with someone that supports the police, memorializes the fallen. They're going to go with somebody that goes to openings of small businesses for their constituents. That's who you want in power. You don't want someone that's so busy raising money for a picnic and raising money for a Lincoln Reagan dinner that they don't even bother to go into their constituents' neighborhoods. They want someone that will go door to door and sit at the table and not say, hi, I'm such and such running for Congress, or hi, I'm such and such running for state delegate or governor of Maryland. They want someone that will sit and listen. Like I said, we have some great people that are running for high office that really deserve to be there because they care about their constituents. They care about the people. Coming back after the break, again, we're going to be reporting on people that are anti-Semitic, people that are calling for President Trump's impeachment, and they're celebrities, and some that are people in Congress that are crazy and dumb and stupid and silly girls. And we'll dissect that right after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. As you see, I am the White House correspondent for this network. I am considered the new conservative media at the White House. It is an honor above and beyond to go into the White House and be with the wonderful White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and to hang out with President Trump on the White House lawn and many others that you see on TV. Well, as you know, I change up my third segment. I change up my show a little bit. I talk about skincare. I talk about makeup. I talk about dating. Well, this time I am going to talk about celebrities and makeup and skincare. But I am putting politics into it, and it's not me that's doing it. It's the stupid owners of these makeup and skincare companies. Slide one, please. So there's a known cosmetics company called Huda Beauty. Anyone ever heard of it? Well, Huda Beauty is very well known in Sephora stores, Belk, and some other big retailer stores. Now, this owner, she is Muslim. Her name is Huda Katan, but she has the audacity to say that Israel harvests children's organs. Now, we all know that that's not true. We all know that is a false narrative that is pushed by Hamas. That is, again, Islamic propaganda. But this owner, this founder of this big beauty company, thinks it's okay to say this and also thinks that she's going to get more customers by saying this. I advise people, regardless if you care about what's going on in the country and the world, do you honestly think that Israel is harvesting children's organs, especially after what happened to their people on October 7th? I mean, this is disgusting. As a Jewish woman, I will not buy from her. As someone who stands and supports Israel, I will not buy from her. I will not promote her. I will not advertise for her. Heck no, I will not sponsor her stuff because she decided to go political. Why can't these founders of these skincare and makeup groups not be political? Why can't they just create a phenomenal product, promote it, have everyday women try it on, and not be damn political? What does she think she's doing? Does she really think that's going to help her numbers? No, it's going to drop her stock. Look what Adidas did. They added a Palestinian flag on the side of their shoes, and they had Bella Hadid, who's a known anti-Semite. Her whole family is. They're pro-Hamas people. They give money to Hamas as their spokesperson, as their brand ambassador. Are you crazy? Also, I'm very careful about who are the brand ambassadors for these skincare and makeup and hair brands. If it's someone who's pro-Hamas, if it's someone who is anti-American, socialist, communist, I'm not buying from them, and you shouldn't either. Keep in mind, by buying from Miss Huda Katan and Huda Beauty, you're agreeing with what she says. You're agreeing with her propaganda. But she probably gives money to Hamas on the side, and you would never know. This is ridiculous propaganda that she's pushing out there. And I hope that if you are a Huda Beauty user on my network, because I have multiple different viewers on my network and my show, I hope that you stop supporting and promoting her. And I go into Sephora stores a lot. And I may even hint, oh, this woman said Israel harvests children's organs. It's not fake news. It's not a lie. She said it. And I'll pull up the article. I don't give a darn. And it's not to hurt her business. She's already hurting her business by the rhetoric that she said. Again, she went political. I didn't. And then you have another moron, Ariana Grande, who's this big pop singer. We'll pull up that slide. My friend Tim Fasenmaker again posted this, which got millions of hits. He said, Ariana Grande shows AOC's post calling for Trump to be impeached. Now, President Trump was awesome today. On True Social, he completely attacked AOC for calling for President Trump's impeachment. He said she's dumb. She's crazy. She's a freaking bartender. She's a moron. But I shouldn't say that. I'm not attacking bartenders. There are great bartenders out there, but she's just a dumb one. Remember, she was recruited by Justice for Democrats to run for Congress. This biatch came out of nowhere. And she has Jewish people in her district now. I don't know why Jewish people would vote for her. She needs to be primaried out. AIPAC, which is a Jewish organization, which has, they're multimillionaires. They have millions and millions of dollars in their PAC. They have enough money to primary this moron out. They have enough money to prime out Rashid Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders, Chris Van Allen, Jamie Raskin, Chuck Schumer, all these anti-Jew Jews and all these anti-Semites. AIPAC, do your damn job and get these damn anti-Semites out of Congress, because we don't have term limits. And these morons are going to continue being there for years and years and years and eventually run for president. And then we really can't get them the hell out. We can't get them the hell out. We can't get the hell out of, we can't get them the hell out now. I can't even speak because I'm pissed. I don't like the fact that you have stupid celebrities promoting this crap. Does Ariana Grande even know anything about politics? Does she know what's going on in Israel? Does she know what's going on in Iran? Anything? She's a moron. But again, she wants to hurt her brand here. Taylor Swift hurt her brand also by praising Kamala Harris and endorsing her. Again, these damn singers promoting Hamas, going to pro-Hamas events, giving money to Hamas. What the hell? You have a big group. Imagine a rock group. Imagine Dragons. I used to love them. They went to Tel Aviv and performed because they were combating the boycott, divest, and sanction movement. We're like, okay, they're cool guys. But then at the end of one of their recent concerts, the main singer was draping a Palestinian flag over his body. So I can't listen to him now. Like, what the hell? How much are these assholes paying you to promote their shit? It's insane and asinine. Is it really worth it to lose the majority of your fan base over pro-Hamas crap that is going to be dying and is in the process of dying very soon under President Trump's leadership? Is it really worth it, Ariana Grande, to support something you know nothing about? I hope that people stop buying her perfumes and stop going to her concerts. But the problem is, a lot of her fans, they don't care. A lot of their fans, they just like her. I mean, Beyonce has a new hairline, but she's a hot mess, and her husband is a hot mess. But people go into Ulta and they're buying her sacred hair care. They're going to her concerts because she gives out her hair care for free. Her hair care is actually really expensive. It ranges from $42 to like $56. It's crazy. $65 for some BS from her. I would never give money to a celebrity. Never. Because a lot of these celebrities are bought and paid for by the propaganda. Or they work for the propaganda. They work with the propaganda. But there was one woman out there, a Jewish woman who passed away. And there's a whole drama into how she died. I believe she died because she told the truth about Michelle and Barack Hussein Obama. But Joan Rivers was a phenomenal comedian, phenomenal woman, actress. She was on Celebrity Apprentice. She loved President Trump. And she said it right. She talked about Selena Gomez, what a moron she is. Let's play that clip.
Selena Gomez tweeted a pro-Gaza.
Oh, Selena Gomez. Oh, yeah, that college grad.
All right, Joan, thank you.
Joan, thank you so much.
Well, if Selena said that.
Then Rihanna has to take it back.
Tell her, let's see if she can spell Palestinian.
I'll ask.
So I asked Selena Gomez, can you spell Palestinian? I agree with Joan Rivers here. She said these damn stupid celebrities, these young girls that don't know anything, they're pro-Hamas, they're giving money to Gaza. They don't know what the hell is going on. You know what? Why don't they go over there? They love Hamas so much. They love the Gazans. They love the Taliban. They love Al-Aqsa's Murder Brigade, Islamic Jihad. Go over there. You can afford to go over there. Why don't you go over there? Oh, but you go to Israel to hide because you know that the Israeli people will protect you. Oh, but you have multiple houses in multiple different countries where it won't affect you. But God forbid you go over to Gaza, even though you've given them so much money. God forbid you go visit the Taliban. God forbid you go visit Hezbollah. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is, Selena Gomez and Ariana Grande and Huda Katan? Huda Katan reaping in the benefits of American citizens and Jewish people that before they knew about your stance on Israel, they were buying your stuff. I have a lot of Jewish friends that used to buy your foundations. Not anymore. You're losing a big business. Oh, but then she'll blame the Jews. She'll say, oh, the Jews are ruining my business, just like Kanye West blamed the Jews. You took a position to say Israel harvests children's organs. You should pay for it. This was not a mistake that she made. You knew exactly what the F you were saying. Exactly. And if you haven't heard that whole clip of Joan Rivers, she starts by saying, the Palestinians started it. They started. And I was there in Israel. I said it last week when they were building bombs and rockets. Not in Israel, but in Lebanon, in Syria, the houses are dark because they build them for years. I was in Metula, which is the border between Lebanon and Israel. I couldn't go into Lebanon. I'm Jewish. I can't go. But I'm watching these dark houses. There's cars there, but the houses are dark at 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said to my tour guide, what's going on here? He said, oh, they're building bombs now. They shut the lights off so you can't see what they're doing. And then 2 years fast forward, that's when the rockets start to fly. Joan Rivers not predicted it. She was right about it. She's been over there. When you go over there, you know. If you have never been over there, you really need to talk to myself or people that have personally lived there and been there. A lot of people say a lot of stuff about Israel. They make a lot of opinions and assumptions, and they don't know. Unless you are in with the Israeli government, you talk to IDF, you talk to people that live in Israel, and the Israeli people are more than happy to talk to you. Majority of them speak English. You can reach out to them on TikTok, Instagram, and whatnot. They're good people. They will talk to you. But stop listening to the propaganda. Don't listen to the Ariana Grandes and the Huda Katans of the world. They're morons. Don't listen to Selena Gomez either, or Taylor Swift. They're also morons. They don't know, they're ignorant. And again, if they cared so much about the Palestinian people, or Hamas, Taliban, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, they'd be over there right now, but they're not. They're staying in America because they know it's safe. Well, again, guys, this has been a great hour. Don't forget to watch our other show, The Jersey Shore, with my friend Damon Galdo. He's Monday and Fridays, 8 p.m. to 9. And also on Fridays, he does a repeat of his radio show, The Jersey Shore, at 8 p.m. And then he goes live at 9 p.m. to kind of give you updates of the week. And also, don't forget, tomorrow night, we have our newest show. It is a phenomenal show. We get 20 to 40,000 views. The Pulse from 8 to 9 p.m. We have myself and Seth Eisenberg, David Galdo won't be with us because he's on vacation, but we have 3 special guests. I'm not going to tell you because I want you all to watch, but it's going to be a phenomenal show, very jam-packed. We'll be talking a lot about the topics that I talked about tonight and so forth, and of course, breaking news. And don't forget my friend Seth Eisenberg of the Conservative Corner from 7 to 8:30 p.m. every Sunday. And don't forget his GoFundMe. His GoFundMe, he's raised over $6,400. The goal is $25K. The ultimate goal is $100K. The poor man, he almost lost his foot. He had multiple surgeries on his foot. He was in the hospital for 34 days. He is back to work, but it's very stagnant. He can't stay on his foot for long periods of time. He has a house to pay. He has a son to support. Every dollar counts. Instead of giving money to illegal aliens, criminals, murderers, go to Seth Eisenberg.